reflection today is based on a few short verses at the end of Matthew chapter 10. Now, these verses are at the end of Jesus' teaching to his followers what telling others about the good news of Jesus would cost them. He'd given them the command, he'd given them the authority to go around different villages to teach and to heal sick people, even cast out evil spirits. But he also warned them that they would not necessarily be well received. Now, Jesus himself spent his whole life reaching out to people that other people shunned. He healed everyone who came to him that was sick. He drove out demons from many people. And yet he was opposed by a lot of people to the point where he was eventually killed. If this happened to Jesus, who was God amongst us, then surely his followers can't expect to get any better treatment. They face opposition, even from among their own family. And that opposition can be threatening, it can be quite painful. And yet a genuine follower of Jesus is a person who will be willing to put up with this. So today's couple of verses come at the end of all this, and it sounds, well, what has been sounded like rather discouraging teaching. He says this: anyone who welcomes you welcomes me, and anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet as a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. Whoever welcomes a righteous person as a righteous person will receive a righteous person's reward. And if anyone gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly not lose their reward. So what Jesus was saying here is that, yes, there will be opposition, but there will be people who receive the news. And when they receive it, he says, they also receive Jesus, which means they will also receive the Father. In other words, they will come into relationship with God himself. The reverse of that is to say that if people reject what the disciples teach, they're not rejecting the disciples, they're not rejecting the followers, they are rejecting God himself. He made the statement that whoever receives a prophet in the name of a prophet receives a prophet's reward. Whoever received a righteous person in the name of a righteous person would receive a righteous person's reward. Firstly, you need to note that a prophet is not someone who tells the future. A prophet is someone who hears God speak and relays those words to whoever, whatever the situation is. So if we recognise that someone is a prophet, that they are speaking what they have heard from God, then we are blessed to receive that word because we are receiving words directly from God. If we listen to a person because we see that their way of life shows they really truly believe and follow Jesus, then it says we receive a righteous person's reward. Because when we receive Jesus, he takes our unrighteousness and he gives us his righteousness. Now, being righteous doesn't mean being holier than thou. Being righteous simply means being put in right relationship with God. And it's only Jesus who can put us in right relationship with God. The third thing Jesus mentioned was giving a cup of water to one of his followers. In other words, doing it for the sake of Jesus. A cup of water is a very simple thing. And Jesus is saying, look, it's even the simplest act of love and service in his name is noticed by God. Now, the rewards sound like we're waiting for praise or some sort of benefit. This is not what it's meaning. The reward is our growing relationship with him, and it's a relationship with ends in life with him after this life. And that's a life where there is no pain, no suffering, no sickness. It's just a life almost beyond what we can imagine here. So while we may suffer persecution, we may suffer opposition, it's worth it in the end. And to sum up, if we speak to others about Jesus, we may face opposition, but we're not alone. Jesus is always with us. And the end is worth going through the trials that we have now. We need to keep our eyes focused on what lies ahead. Our Olympic hopefuls at the moment are currently training. They're pushing through pain. They're being disciplined in their diet. They're foregoing social time so they can put in the practice. But they're doing it with their eyes on being chosen to go to the next Olympics and even maybe a gold medal. If they are willing to put up with so much pain and effort for a fleeting glory, how much more should we strive for what lasts in eternity?
Oh, my soul, arise and bless your Maker, for He is your Master and your friend, slow to wrath, but rich in tender mercy. Worship the Savior, Jesus. King of grace, His love is overwhelming. Bread of life, He's all I'll ever need. For His blood has purchased me forever. For at the cross of Jesus, and I will sing for all my days of heaven's love.